Today, I wanted to talk about something a little different. I actually had something else planned out, but I started praying and I got a few different things that I want to talk about. While I'm kind of getting started here, go ahead and turn to Hebrews 12. I want to talk about falling away. And, I got an email from somebody who kind of made me think about this too, and I've been kind of listening to certain things that people say and some ideas. And, it's sad because Christians have been taught some pretty messed up stuff for so long. I think people actually believe it, and there's so much of God that we're missing out on because we don't really understand what it means to have a relationship with Him. And I started thinking about this, and I saw these. I was going on the news, and I was reading some different reports that were coming up, and it was kind of ironic I found this, and it kind of ties in with what I'm talking about. But there were these two news reports, and one of them, it started out by talking about the shaking economy. The economy is being shaken, and it had this whole thing about things that are going on with the economy. And then the next headline right under it was something to do with the fires they were having in Southern California. With this crazy fire, like 30,000 acres burned down, 300 homes and all this. And I started reading where the fire was, and it was Orange County. So basically I found two different articles that hit me at home because one has to do with my job, the other one has to do with Disneyland. So these were really important to me. But I just started thinking about it because it was weird, the wording. I don't know. Maybe I do this because I'm a weirdo, but I just look at things and I kind of see things. I don't know. I see something in an article that when you put two things together and it's like, wow, they're kind of saying something they don't realize, But just that things are being shaken and this fire is consuming all this stuff, and just started thinking about that idea of first of all, the whole economy being shaken. I started thinking about how shaking in a way, it's like I kind of see somebody who's the economy and he's like shaking. That's kind of the idea I had. This person's afraid. They're nervous, that things are being shaken around, or like an earthquake where things are getting thrown all over the place and nobody knows what's going to happen and nobody knows how this is going to end. And, like the whole idea that California is going to fall in the ocean one day. This earthquake, is this going to happen? California is going to fall in the ocean. That's shaking. Things are being shaken, things are being thrown around, and in the economy, it's people don't know. You listen to people. You have these guys that get on TV, these supposed great analysts that they get up there and they say one thing and then they're proven wrong the next day. And I think finally people are starting to say, okay, well, this is totally different. We don't have a clue what's going to happen, And you got all this going on, this uncertainty, this fear. Fear just. I'll tell you, it just permeates. It's just this force that you just feel so powerfully. Because of all the things that are going on. But the funny thing when you think about it is that I'm sitting here in my house, really nothing's any different than it was 3 or 4 months ago. Really it's not. I'm still making money. I still have my lights on, my water, I got food, But it's just funny because some people, it's like the economy is being shaken, and there are some bad things going on, there's horrible stuff, but it gets blown up and it just becomes this huge thing. And then that's what started making me think about the fires. And I started reading about the fires that happened down in Southern California, and it was kind of interesting because they said it started from a small bonfire. It's people out having a little party, lit a bonfire or something, and next thing you know, 30,000 acres are burning down. And you're probably listening thinking, how the heck are you going to tie this into the Bible? Okay, you ready? Hebrews chapter 12. Hebrews chapter 12, and it's funny because I was just reading through Hebrews, and that's why the two articles put together kind of caught my attention because I just read the scripture. And look at this in Hebrews 12, verse 27. And he says here, and this expression, yet once more, denotes the removing of those things which can be shaken, as of created things, in order that those things which cannot be shaken may remain. Therefore, since we have received a kingdom which cannot be shaken, let us show gratitude by the way that we offer God an acceptable worship with reverence and awe. For our God is a consuming fire. It's interesting. He says we've been given a kingdom. We have been given a kingdom that cannot be shaken. We have been given something that can withstand the test of time, can withstand the trials and hardships of this world. It cannot be shaken. And this is fun, because I'm saying this and it's like, okay, yeah, that's cool. No, really think about this. I remember one time I was working on Isaiah's bike and, putting the bolts back on and trying to get the chain to work, get the tire back on. And, after I put it together, I kind of started thinking, well, Isaiah's going to get on this bike. What if I didn't put it together wrong? That kind of feeling uncertainty. I'm thinking, well, what if the tire falls off while he's riding, because I'll tell you what, I'm not that good at mechanics, so it could happen, and I just, that uncertainty, that feeling that, what's going to happen, what's going on, but yet, it's funny because I was thinking, well, if I had like my dad here and he was doing it, I wouldn't even think about it, I've had, my dad knows how to do things, he knows how to do mechanics, he knows how to work on things, so I know, okay, well, if he came here and he put Isaiah's bike back together, I wouldn't even think twice about it, Why? Because I know my dad understands mechanics. He knows how to do it, He has a bunch of tools in his garage. That means he knows what he's doing. I have like one little thing with a few wrenches and stuff in it because I don't know what I'm doing. And that's the thing is with this world, because we don't understand things. We don't understand, the environment. We don't understand the economy. We don't understand what's going on. And it's that uncertainty that causes us to be afraid or to be, to be fearful. And so because we can't understand the kingdom that God has given us, we get afraid, we get uncertain, we feel, well, is this going to help? Is this really going to keep me? That uncertainty. And then I start to, does God really love me? I mean, really, when you think about this, does God really love, with all these things that are going on, can I really trust that God is going to take care of me? With all the things going on in my life, can I really trust that God can take care of me? Can God can do something to keep my life together? That when things are shaking around me, when my life is shaking, I'm not just talking with, the things in the world, I'm talking just in general. When you go through sin or trials or hardship or sickness or disease or lack or any of those things, that, when the world starts shaking around you, can I really trust that God is going to take care of me? Does God really love me? And that's what made me think about this last verse here in verse 29 where he says, God is a consuming fire. Fire, I mean, think about fire for a second. I mean, what are some of the images you usually get? I mean, it's funny because based upon the way that experiences that you had in your life, you can look at fire one way or another. You can smell the smell of smoke and it could bring back these warm memories of sitting around a campfire, or it can bring back memories of terror while you're trying to exit your house as it's burning down. I mean, it's based upon the experiences that you've had. So fire can be amazing and dangerous at the same time. I mean, fire could be powerful and pretty at the same time. I mean, fire, it has that characteristic that, depending on what you're going through, depending on what you've experienced, it's going to determine on how you're going to feel about it. Some people are terrified of fire. Some people think they like fire so much they want to play with it and light things on fire all the time, I mean, there are all these different... And I started thinking about that. When God says this in the Bible, that God is a consuming fire. It's the same thing depending on how you're raised. If you're raised in a church where you've been told your whole life that God is a consuming fire because he's wanting to get onto you, he's going to burn you if you don't do something right, then yeah, you're going to have the wrong impression of this. When I say this, it's funny because that's how we are. It's the whole idea of semetics. When I say a word, a semetic is basically the way, when I say a word, the definition or the meaning that you put behind it doesn't always mean that I'm saying that. When I say our God is a consuming fire, some people are like, oh yeah, he's powerful, he's dreadful, he's horrible. He'll burn up sinners who don't listen to him. He's constantly angry at them, ready to destroy them and throw them in a lake of fire. Or if you're raised differently, well, yeah, you see it a little differently. Well, if you've never really experienced God's love, if you've never really experienced this kingdom that cannot be shaken, this certainty, this unconditional love of God, and if you've never read about it, if you've never been taught it, if you sit in a church Sunday after Sunday after Sunday and get told that God wanted to throw you into hell and beat you up over the things you do, then yes, guess what? That smell of fire is going to bring about a terror. It's going to bring about a fear. But if you know of a God who wants to sit around a campfire with you and wants to love on you and wants to talk to you and wants to teach you and wants to spend good times, then yeah, it's going to be different. And the sad thing is most Christians haven't experienced that. They haven't experienced a God that just wants to sit down and love them. He wants to take care of them. Just like a father does with the son. I mean, it's amazing that we miss this so much.